of Hafiz. 3 of Meher Baba's favorite couplets of Hafiz, a mystical Persian poet. Befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. About what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong, because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. Hafiz. So here we are, session number 19, continuing the discussion into Wayfarers, where we are at the supplement that is here.
Incidentally, this morning I was opening up my bookshelf and I found a book by William Donkins. I think that was published before this book came. So it was a very thin volume.
Okay.
About the Masts. In
Oh,
a similar fashion.
interesting.
There's a table towards the end as an annexure, and there's the index, which is that's what we are reading.
Okay.
It's a very small volume. Yeah.
So
very old book. Yeah.
What date was it? And
I'll have a look while we are talking.
Sure. So
Yeah,
I think what Baba might have seen that and said, "Hey, this is very good, but make a bigger one."
Could be.
Yeah.
And I also stumbled upon 2 small volumes, very thin publications by the center. One is on Mehra, and the another one is on Kitty Devi. Very thin volumes, 10 pages, 15 pages.
Okay.
And I think it will be interesting to read them. I'll scan it and send it to you.
Okay.
Because these 2 ladies are the pillars, and of course, money.
Yes.
But let's read these 2 first, and then we'll see.
No, I was actually
we can plan.
on one of the discussions in the last 2 weeks in one of the Baba Zoom meetings, where there was an interesting topic. The topic was the role of women and women in the universal work of Meher Baba, right? So in that, there was interesting conversations of how probably the whole empowerment of women and the women taking the lead was actually represented by all of these people, right? Mani, Elizabeth, Kitty Devi, all of these were very powerful women personalities, right?
Absolutely.
Very independent, lot of initiative, and representing both the East and the West. And they were actually beacons of. We read in that Glow article, right? The way Elizabeth and Kitty Devi actually drove through the initial days of the center, the Myrtle Beach Center.
Yes.
Is
Absolutely.
worthy of many books.
Yes.
But I don't know much about money and her role in the trust and all that. But that was briefly discussed, so it was interesting.
Okay.
So so some of these calls exactly coincide with my walk time. I walk at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And there's usually a 6 o'clock slot, 6 o'clock Dubai, which is maybe 7:30 a.m. Weekdays.
Okay.
So there's something going on at that time usually. So
okay.
Otherwise, it's mostly in the night. I mean, it's all US time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Late in the evening. Yeah.
Late in the evening. But that also, I think I've got 1 or 2 I tried. Yeah. Anyway, so interesting. So we were in page 346. So let's continue from there. Maybe I'll read for a bit and then we can rotate
Yes,
as
yes.
always. Yeah.
Sure.
So we finished Rishikesh and we saw quite a few, I think two adept Hindu pilgrims, Keshavanand ji and uh, who was the other? Jal Tapasvi. Yeah, they were the two Rishikesh musts that Baba talks about. Now let's continue to Rohri. So Rohri is A4. So let's quickly see. I think it must be Pakistan. No, A4. Yeah, Sukur and Rohri. So this
Sukur.
may be
Sukur is very close to us. This is part of Ahmednagar only,
no.
including
Here,
Rahuri.
यहाँ पे Rohri.
Oh, sorry. I was
Sukur
not
is
looking at. Okay.
same
Rohini
side.
was a different place.
Yeah, so not Rahuri. Rahuri is the famous Mad Ashram, Mast Ashram, which we finished
Yeah.
yesterday. This is Afghanistan, I
Yes.
think, or border of Pakistan and
Okay.
Afghanistan. So it's somewhere here.
Okay.
Sukur Rohri. Yeah. So
One point that up to what period the Wayfarer covers?
46.
What is that?
46. So
Up to 46, right?
so if you see here,
The
uh,
last
47. Sorry,
47, right? The book
August
that I
27,
stumbled
47.
upon, yeah, the book that I stumbled upon is 8th June 1948 to 1st August 1949. So when even after the Wayfarer was published, the Mast and Baba work was on,
Okay.
and the book that I have stumbled upon covers that another 1 year or so.
So I think that's like a supplement to this book.
Yes.
So
Yes.
based on what you think, we can even read that if you think it's relevant. And
Yeah. Let me
so
see. Get
how
that
do you
scanned
scan it?
and
Do you scan it on the phone?
I scan it in the office. I have a
Oh,
scanner, so
okay.
that's not an issue. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you.
So the next time we need a scanning, I'll lean on you. I spent a lot of money scanning this infinite intelligence, but I was left
Okay.
unhappy. I was left unhappy because it doesn't do text scanning. In the
Mm-hmm.
sense, you can't search text in that file.
Okay.
I don't know if your Glow article allows you to text.
I didn't try. I didn't try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we can open it and
Let's
check
see.
later. I will check. But
Okay.
that's something to, if you have an option to request, request that and see if what's the reaction when you request for scanning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's start with Rory.
Yeah.
Rory A4 Allah Baksh Mast. A high mast in a majzoob-like state with an utterly childlike disposition. He sits on a wooden table which has been put against the side wall of a well for him. For many years before he came to sit by the well, he used to squat on the river embankment wall. He is now a very old man. Occasionally he shouts Allah or another name of God or anything that comes into his head. This is Allah Baksh Mast. Bhai Choar Mast. The last contact with Allah Baksh was 1946, October 3rd. I think the same date, multiple contacts were made in Rohri. So the other two are Bhai Choar Mast and Master Nimraji. Bhai Choar Mast, a good must, middle-aged, who is one of the dirtiest musts ever contacted by Baba. Clad in the filthiest clothes, he shuts himself in a room that might compete with the Augean stables for the first prize of unwholesomeness. He sits on the floor of this room with a heap of raw wool before him, which he beats incessantly with a stick. Baba sat in this filthy room with him for 10 minutes for his work of contact. Wow. So audience table is something that you say when something is very, very dirty, right? Or a big task to be
Okay.
done. We can look it up.
Okay. Okay.
Just 1 second. Audience. Often appears in the phrase clean, corruption. Which had not been cleaned for 30 years. The cleaning of these tables was accomplished by Hercules, who diverted the river Alpheus through them. So anything that's super dirty. Okay, let's continue.
Okay.
Master
Yeah.
Nimraji, a Majzoob-like must between the 6th and the 7th, who is very famous throughout this part of Sindh. So that's Sindh border, Afghanistan and Pakistan ka border state of Sindh. A Majzoob-like must between the 6th plane and the 7th, who is very famous throughout this part of Sindh. On many lampposts in Rohri, one sees notice boards with a picture of Nimraji on them, directing the stranger which way to go to find him. He is a very old man, believed to be about 100 years of age, and he was the disciple of a spiritual master called Baidul Shah. In his early years, he was a schoolmaster, and he now wears moderately decent clothes, and in appearance reminds one of a good sadhu. There are always great crowds of men, women, and children around him, and he is greatly revered by people of different creeds. Aga Baidul tells an amusing story of a visit to Rohri from Quetta in 1941 when he was trying to persuade a certain mast to come with him to Quetta for Baba's contact. Baba was staying in Quetta at that time. Baidul was not making much headway, and he came by way of passing the time of day to see Master Nemraji. Baidul made no mention about his planning to take another mast to Quetta and was simply sitting there in the room where Nemraji lives. Nemraji then addressed Baidul in a very peremptory manner. This is Rohri, stressing the word Rohri. This is Rohri, and you want to take him to Quetta, stressing the word Quetta. He repeated this twice and hit Baidul twice with his hand. Nemraji is a 80% Jalali type of must, and people are greatly afraid of him as well as revering him. His face is almost exactly like that of Chacha of Ajmer. So there's even a Sant Ram and a Sant Tukaram. All of them met on the same day in Rohri. Continuing, we go to Kashmir again, I think. Enclosure A. No, this is near Haridwar, Roorkee. Roorkee here, near Dehradun. And then Sadhaura. Sadhaura is E3. Three. A, B, C, D, E. 3. Yeah, it's here, below Simla,
Himachal.
above Dehradun. Yeah.
Yeah. Himachal. Yeah.
Himachal, yeah. Sadhaura, the must's name is Dina Shah, a very high must who is continually in a dazed state. He is middle-aged and wears a shirt and slacks and a thin muslin cap. He did not, however, allow Baba to contact him properly. Baba and his men had tried for many hours without success to find this mast, and eventually late at night they gave up the search. Baba, however, told Baidul and Eruch to go to the and Baba, however, told Baidul and Eruch to go the following morning at 4 a.m. to the place where it was said that he might be found and pay their respects to him. They were ordered by Baba to observe closely whether the must turned his head to the left or to the right or looked directly at them, and they were to report the result to Baba. Unfortunately, both Eruch and Baidul were so tired that they did not get up until 5:30 a.m., so that the chance of seeing what the must did was missed. Baba's explanation of the significance of such motions of the head was also never given. I think given to them. An hour or two later, when the party were leaving Sadaura, they met Dina Shah on the road, and Baba was able to contact him here, but not to his full satisfaction. And the date of contact is 1946, August 11th. Okay, Krishna Guard. I think this is the one that is the famous one with the series on TV.
Series on TV?
Yeah. There was a serial that was made, or at least one episode, I think, and I saw it on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and in that it mentions Meher Baba. It mentions Krishna, and I think there's also a reference to Meher Baba.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is 1946, August 11th. So I was not aware that this is done in Himachal, the Krishna Guard. Okay, Krishna Guard, an adept pilgrim. Adept pilgrim is sixth or seventh plane. An erstwhile railway guard with great devotion and love for Krishna. He writes Radha Krishna everywhere and utters the words Radha Krishna constantly aloud. He wept when he met Baba, and Baba also seemed very happy to contact him. He's still a fairly young man, and his history is worth recounting. It is told of him that he was one day so wrapped in devotional bhajans to Krishna that he failed to report for duty. When he later realized that he had absented himself from work, he went to his supervisor and apologized for his laxity. The supervisor, however, brought the duty book and showed him his attendance signature signed in the proper place. Many people also confirmed that they had seen him in the flesh on his usual train on that particular day. His reply to these proofs that he had in fact somehow done his duty was, Krishna ji looked after my worldly duties while I was busy praying to him. From that time, therefore, he left his employment with the railway, departed from his wife and family, and began his present life of ardent devotion to Krishna. Did we read somewhere about this earlier? Because also there was these signs that Baba sees in all over Sadaura, and actually goes looking for him and finds him, or something like that. That's what I remember reading elsewhere.
Yeah, this story is, I think, I have heard, even on television, this has been shown actually.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, Krishna attending to the duties, and very specific context to railways.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Saharanpur. Okay, Saharanpur, we have a few. So Raji Mai Mastani, she was a very good Mastani, middle-aged with a fair skin and a radiant and luminous face. She lived naked in a very filthy condition in a stable near a cemetery. She had originally been in Dehradun, where she used to be spoken of as an angel because of her piercing radiance. She has now passed away. So this was 1942, June 26th. Next one, still in Saharanpur. Saharanpur is, by the way, UP. Rahmatullah Baba, a must of the sixth plane in tattered raiment, but with a perpetually happy and genial nature. He puts rags of all sorts over one shoulder and wears torn clothes of padded cotton like a quilt. He was contacted in Saharanpur twice and is often to be found in the Ida Sain Mosque there. On 23rd August, he was brought for one day to Haridwar, where Baba was staying for a few days. He seemed in some way to recognize Baba's spiritual status, for he touched Baba's feet, and this caused some discussion between Baba and his men, for Baba does not like this to be done. Rahmatullah slept outside the house where Baba was lodged in Haridwar, and in the morning was not to be found. After a search, however, he was located at the station. In view of this apparent recognition of Baba's spiritual greatness, he was sent back to Saharanpur. He is a real Ittifaqi type of mast with traits of a Jamali. So Saharanpur is E3. So we have C, D, E. There it is, Saharanpur, just close to Dehradun. So it's, is it even UP? Does it look like Nazibabad,
What?
Deoband? Yeah, it is UP.
They are all in UP.
UP.
Nazibabad, Saharanpur, close to, nearby areas to Dehradun.
Yes, correct.
So now it is Uttarakhand, of course, but yes.
But even now, I think Saharanpur and Najibabad are UP, right? Deoband, all that is UP, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Could be. Nazibabad, I'm not sure. Saharanpur is in UP.
Correct. That's what I thought. Okay. He also met the poor. 1,500 poor men and women were given 1 rupee each by Baba's own hands and individually contacted by him in a private room in the public library. The 1,500 were chosen a few days in advance by some of Baba's men, who distributed numbered tickets to those who appeared needy, instructing each one where they should come on the appointed day. On such occasions, when large numbers of poor are given prasad, Baba commonly uses this method of numbered tickets, which have the word prasad printed on them. Prasad is a gift in the name of God. Baba's name is never given. At such times, Baba does some spiritual work of inner and universal significance, and it is for this reason that private contact with each one is essential. It is, of course, this inner work that is important, for the giving of charity to a few hundred souls amongst the millions of India's poor is not of much material significance. This happened in 1946 on the 28th of August. Okay, Upasani Maharaj. There's no asterisk, but then 1941, October 17, he met Baba at Jabalpur. This is the last meeting, yeah. The famous last meeting.
No. The last meeting was at Dahigaon, not in Jabalpur.
Oh, yeah.
That video is
right
there.
Here.
Yeah.
It says right here.
Yeah, Dahigaon.
That's 24th. No, that's passed through Jabalpur. When I was saying for a description of this in Jabalpur, this was the last meeting. Oh, so Jabalpur is close to Dahigaon, I think, maybe.
Could be, yeah.
Okay, so now we come to Sangareddy Pet, which sounds like Andhra. Fine. Yeah. There it is, Sangareddy Pet, near just close to Hyderabad. Abdullah Sahib, contact date 1945, May 16th. A good must, short, lame, and old, whom Baba contacted first by night and again the next morning. Baba and his men reached Sangareddy Pet late at night in 2 bullock carts, having come about 25 miles that day by means of this most diabolical of all vehicles. As soon as they reached Sangaredipet, they became objects of suspicion to the police, who suspected them to be a party of Pathans, mostly because of Baidul, whose physique and appearance are not unlike those of a Pathan. Baba and his men only avoided arrest by insisting on seeing the local inspector, who was satisfied that they were Parsis and so let them go. The dust and perspiration on the background of dog tired, unshaven faces, the soiled clothes, the weary steps of very weary men, all these together served to make Baba and his men on these great must journeys cut a sorry figure to the casual passerby. No one should think that a must tour with Baba is a leisurely trip enlivened by contacts with eccentric spiritual personalities, for the hunting down of almost every must means many weary hours of travel with the utter minimum of rest and food. Okay, Satara. Satara is obviously central India, but Maharashtra. Malang Maharaj of Vanegaon, a good must from Vanegaon, brought to Baba in Satara during the period of his 5 days seclusion there. He was very active and restless, and as soon as he was brought into the house, he made himself at home on a sofa, smiling winsomely at everyone. Baba washed the must's hands, and gave him food, and Malang Maharaj then called for some wood ash and gave a pinch of it to Baba. Later, Malang Maharaj asked to have a bath, and Baba bathed him and then sat with him for 1 hour. After this contact, Baba told Baidul that his work with Malang Maharaj was finished, and he was taken back to his village of Vanegaon, where he is much revered. This is 1947, 23rd of April. Next, we have Paya G, 1947, June 13. A moderate must of Karachi brought to Satara Mast Ashram for 2 days by Minu Kharas. Payaji is naked save for a loincloth, has been well known in Karachi for the last 30 years, and although he still looks to be in early middle age, he must in fact be nearly 60 years old. He prattles a great deal and from time to time claps his hand together loudly with an expression of great enjoyment. Another of his favorite habits is to put his fingers in one or both ears and utter odd sounds as if he were pretending to transmit or receive telegraph messages. He is agonizingly restless and will repeat one question over and over again. He loves to smoke cigarettes and to go for rides in cars and carriages. Payaji was kept for 2 days in the Satara Mastashram, fed and contacted by Baba, and sent back to Karachi with Minu Kharas on the evening of 14th of July. Okay. Sagor, E6. 6E. There it is. So, Madhya Pradesh. Saugor, I think. That's how you pronounce it. Saugor. Saugor Janjeer Wala Baba. One of Baba's men had seen this must in Saugor in 1939. At that time, he was very ferocious and extremely dirty, with the red, fiery eyes. His relations, believing him to be possessed by an evil spirit, had chained his hands and feet together and fastened the chain, Janjeer, to the ground. In 1945, when Baba contacted him, he was quiet and mild and had been released from his iron chains. He is a good must. And this contact happened in 1945, November 19. Okay, so place of seclusion. This is how to read this, but there's one asterisk here for an unknown date in 1946 May. Name not known. Two of Baba's men were one day at the railway station when they noticed a tall, bearded old man in a kafni. There was a sad and puzzled look on his aged face, as if he was searching for someone without success. He followed Baba's two men, and as he seemed a little out of the ordinary, having a kind of otherworldly worldly quality, they decided to invite him to their house, thinking that Baba might like to contact him. So they helped him into their tonga and took him back to the house. As soon as they reached the gate of the house, the old man exclaimed, Gulistan mein aa gaya. We have come to the flower garden. Now, the garden of Baba's house was not in any way superlative. There were flowers in it, but not to the extent that they would have made a stranger draw attention to them in such picturesque terms, and the meaning of these words would be better written as We have come to paradise. A few moments later, Baba came out of the house, and the old man walked quickly towards him. And when he came close to him, he gazed lovingly at Baba's face and began to laugh with tears of joy welling up in his eyes. Every wrinkle of his ancient face seemed to be smoothed away, and the veil of confusion and sadness that had been upon it vanished. He looked young and radiant, brimming over with joy at seeing Baba. He then turned to Baba's two men and pointing to Baba exclaimed, Look at this man's face and forehead. They shine as if the sun were there. Can't you recognize who he is? Baba then took him by the hand into a little room in the gardener's hut and sat alone with him for about 15 minutes. And while in the room, the old man could be heard laughing with joy. Baba then emerged with him and led him towards the house. Near the corner of the gardener's hut, standing upon a parapet, was a shining brass bell that was used to call those in the house. The old man picked up this bell and danced in a circle around Baba, and as he danced, he rang the bell over his own head and Baba's. After having house, taken him into the house for a while, Baba again brought him to the gardener's hut and sat with him for about half an hour. Before leaving, Baba gave him 10 rupees, which he was reluctant to accept, but did so after much persuasion. He, in his turn, insisted on taking Baba's address, asked for pencil and paper, and had the address jotted down. As he left in the tonga, his expression was one of superlative happiness. After he had departed, Baba described how, while in the house, he had said, God has sent me today to this Parsi saint. He was a fifth plane mast, a rare mixture of Jamali and Mahabubi. Jamali, we know. Mahabubi is, I think, feminine attributes. And the date of contact, by the way, was 1946, unknown day in May.
I think in some of the videos, I have seen this man dancing with bells over his head.
Oh.
Yeah. In some must movie, it is there. Let me, if I stumble upon, I'll share.
Sure. I think also it's got to, given it's Ahmednagar, so maybe there's a higher chance of the video and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
You're right. Okay, let's go to Secunderabad. Kauri Shah, a very old man, a familiar sight in Secunderabad, who rode about on a quiet little pony with a kitten on his lap. He generally had two or three children with him who saw to his needs, and sometimes he used to enjoy basking in the sun. He is a seeker, and this contact was made in 1945, 1st of March. Shastri Bua, contacted thrice, 1945, 24th of February, again in April 14th and August 10th of the same year. A very good must in very dirty tea-stained clothes. He is inordinately fond of snuff and tea. and he begs one piece, quarter anna from passers-by. He had originally been a scholar and was an author of several books on Hindu religious subjects. He looks very much like Upasani Maharaj. He is of sixth plane, and this is in Secunderabad. Then we go to Sehwan. Sehwan, I think, is Pakistan.
A means Pakistan. Yeah.
No, 5 may not be. We'll see. Yeah,
must be down near Karachi or someplace.
No, it's actually, I think, border Afghanistan only. So
okay.
South of Rohri, yahan pe hai. So complete end mein. Sehwan Nadir Ali Shah, an advanced pilgrim. Advanced pilgrim is 4th and 5th. He is the lineal successor of Makhdoom Ali Lai Shahbaz, who lived several centuries ago and who is said to have been a Sadguru. It is said that Nadir Ali Shah stood on one foot in a ditch for a period of 2 years and during all that time took only liquid food. During the last 12 years, he has subsisted on milk, water, and soda water. He lives at the shrine of Lai Shahbaz, which he keeps clean and in good repair. He himself wears fakir's clothes and a kalandari cap, a cotton cap with flaps over the ears. Baba sat with him for 1 hour. And this is in 1946, October 1. Then you have Noor Ali Shah Patan, a very good must of the 5th plane. He wears dirty clothes and carries a bundle of bed sheets. He is a famous figure in Sehwan and is surrounded by people as he wanders hither and thither in the town. He's fond of sitting on a certain public bench, which people now think of as his bench. He has been in Sehwan for the past 25 years. Baba was keen to contact him privately, and in order to achieve this, he waited from 2 o'clock in the scorching afternoon until 10 o'clock at night. It was only at this time of night that the crowds of admirers left him, so that Baba was able to contact Noor Ali Shah alone. Again, both these places were visited on the same day, that is the 1st of October, 1946. Okay, Shahdara, which is next to Lahore, C3, Changiwala Baba, a middle-aged seeker at the Octroy Gate at Shahdara, who wore bones around his neck, stomach, wrists, in fact, all over his body, and collected filth and rubbish of all sorts in a sack. The same man was contacted later in Jammu on 9th November 1943, and he had then changed the bones for clay pipes and wore a string of them about his neck. Because of these pipes, Chilam, he was known in Jammu as Chilamwala Baba. And this contact happened in 1943, 7th of October. Shahdara, again, C3 Godriwala Baba, an old man, a good must of the adept pilgrim type, 5th or 6th plane. This sounds a contradiction in terms, but Baba explains that he was a must of a complex type who was best classified in this way. Godriwala Baba always had a quilt Godri over his shoulders, and every morning he would walk from Shahdara into Lahore to the streets where the prostitutes plied their trade. There, he would abuse the prostitutes loudly and roundly and return each evening to Shahdara where he slept. He was a difficult must to trace, but was eventually discovered and contacted near a well. Baba gave him grapes and a coconut. He is not now to be seen in Shahdara, and no one knows where he has gone. And this happened also in 1943, but on the 4th of November. Then you come down to Maharashtra, Sholapur. D9, Ghuliyappa Swami, a yogi of the fifth plane. He is about 80 years of age, and though he is dressed and behaves in a manly way, he refers to himself in the first person singular feminine as if he were a woman. 1942, January 5th. This might be a Mahbubi must, we don't know. Mullah Baba, a good must. He's a very old man with excessively long and dirty fingernails who wears filthy clothes and drinks toddy and country spirits. He sits in a corner of an old gymnasium, Talim Khana, at Bijapur Basi. He has been there for the past 15 years and never gets up from the corner where he sits. He's very well known and is much revered by the people of Sholapur. Two contacts made, once in 1941 November and then 1942 January as well. Sialkot, again Pakistan, a very high must. He has long hair and beard and wears a kafni and lives in the shrine of Tokshah at Talwara, about 2 miles from Sialkot. He piles up bundles of rags and stale chapatis beside him. His state varies, being sometimes Majzub-like and sometimes Salik-like. This contact was 10th of May 1946. One more in Sialkot, Kaka Saeed Mastan, a very high must who has remained for 25 years outside a certain mosque in a village called Saidan Wali, about 3 miles from Sialkot. He is greatly reverenced, and those who go to him with a prayer for some blessing find that their prayer is answered. So many people come to him that a dharamshala has been built to house them. So many people come to see him that a dharamshala has been built to house them. Two contacts made, first time in 1942 May, second time on the 9th of May, 1946. 1946. Siddhan.
Take a break, Karthik. Let me know.
Yeah, sure. You can take over. Siddhan Kol, D10, Lingayat Swami. Now let's see where Siddhan Kol is. D10.
D10. Central India, somewhere.
I think Karnataka.
Southern India, yeah.
Karnataka, Gokak, near Gokak, Belgaum.
Belgaum, okay.
There it is. Where is it? Yeah, Belgaum ke paas. Siddhan Kol. And that's a very Lingayat name, right? Yeah, Lingayat Swamiji.
Yeah, that's also.
Karnataka, yeah. An old man and a good yogi. Many years ago, he came to this lovely spot where a solitary temple stands amid a peaceful rural landscape, and for 12 years sat in the temple. He used to worship with such rapture that he was seen once to be quite unconscious while a snake passed over his body. After the 12th year of his penance in the temple was completed, he gave a feast to all the local country people, telling them that his work was finished. He is held in great veneration by the villagers for miles around. This is 14th of May, 1947. Okay, you want to take over from Simla?
Yes.
Okay.
Aghori Baba. It is Shimla, Aghori Baba. Two contacts in 1946, September 4, August 4, and then once more in September. A very high must of the sixth plane in a mazhub-like state and of a Jalali type. He is very impressive and powerful looking man with fiery eyes, and he sits covered only with a piece of sack on the veranda of a certain house. All about him he has collected piles of rubbish and rags, and the owner of the house, a Sikh, is now unable to enter his house by way of his own veranda. For not only it is chock-a-block with the rags and rubbish belonging to Aghori Baba, but also if he ventures to enter by this route, the must rebuffs him with abuse. The Sikh therefore has set up a ladder by means of which he bridges over the territory upon which Aghori Baba dislikes him to trespass, and so reaches his house in this way. Aghori Baba eats any sort of food, but is fond of sweet meats and curds, and sometimes enjoys a glass of lemonade. When Baba went to contact him, Aghori Baba, pointing to Baba and addressing one of the Mandali, said, "You will see what will come to pass, and one day you will know who he, that is Baba, really is."
Wow.
Salutes to the sick man.
Yeah. With the
Yeah,
ladder.
yeah, with a ladder he used to enter his house. Name not known, once again in Shimla, and two contacts, August 5 and September 1946. A good must, he is a naked Muslim who lives in a smithy where he sits on a nuisance and ragged quilt and moves his head from side to side, nodding. It is while. Some years ago, he used to live in the shop of a certain butcher who looked after him. Gradually, however, the must's nature became more and more aggressive, and the butcher found his trade reduced, for customers would avoid his shop for fear of what the must might say or do to them. The worthy butcher thus made arrangements to move his charge to his smithy, though the butcher still sees to all his needs. He is a good must, who now originally of the Jalali type, but has now become a Jamali. Baba says that this change in characteristics is sometimes possible and depends upon the past and the present circumstances of a must's life.
So what is smithy and what's noisome?
Smithy is where you heat the metal and
Oh, so
shape it, you know.
blacksmiths, or
Blacksmith, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the smithy.
What I thought when I first saw it. Blacksmith's workshop, yeah.
Yeah, that is called the
What's
smithy.
noisome? Something to describe the quilt having an extremely offensive smell, noisome vapors, very disagreeable or unpleasant. That's how he
Mm,
describes the quilt, noisome and ragged quilt. Okay.
wow, what English.
But I have never read a
Sivan.
book. I have never read a book like this, even in school. Though my English
Mm.
teacher used to say, "Keep the dictionary with you." I was so, I was so lazy that I never did what we are doing now. Thank you, Baba.
Sivan. Sivan is where actually I know this. Sivan
Let's
is
look
in
it up.
MP.
I think it must be C1 or
Sivan is in
U
MP.
five UP maybe. C1 is Gorakhpur, UP, Eastern
Okay,
UP,
UP, UP. Okay.
Eastern UP.
Hmm. Okay. Shiv Maharaj, Atma Baba, a very good must who sat in a goldsmith's shop. He was contacted at night in the shop, which was specially opened for Baba by the proprietor. Baba, of course, was incognito. After the contact, Baba exclaimed that Shiv Maharaj was a very good must. Really like Shiva. 1942 March. Then we have Sojat, Niru Baba,
Nuru Baba, I think.
Nuru Baba, a high must, a Motherdat of 6th plane who came to Sojat about 25 years ago from his home in Punjab. There are three contacts to him: 1941 June twice, and on July 6, 1941. Okay, he was, so long description about him. He was a must, Nuru Baba. He was a must when he first came to Sojat and he settled himself on the veranda of a certain house. The owner of this particular house tried by coaxing to get Nuru Baba to move away, but finding this of no avail, he eventually forced him to leave. And so Nuru Baba moved to a stone slab and sat naked On this, in sun and rain, disaster after disaster then befell the miserable house owner. His child died, his wife died, and he was overwhelmed by remorse and anxiety to such an extent that he feared he might lose his sanity. The people of Sujat began to associate the misfortunes of this man with the way he treated Nuru Baba, a post hoc argument perhaps, and the latter was henceforth respected as a spiritual personality and allowed to go back to the veranda that he had first chosen. He now sits in this veranda all day, is quite naked, and has about 10 or 12 dogs about him, which he feeds and cares for. Nuru Baba is now about 80 years old. He was born a Mast and is therefore classified as Madarjat, though his characteristics are of those of Jalali and Zamali combined. Of such Masts, Baba says, and this is written in Arabic, today my condition is different. Tomorrow my clothes are different. Today my words are different. Tomorrow my behavior is different.
Today my condition is different. Tomorrow my clothes are different. Today my words are different. Tomorrow my behavior is different. Very complex. And maybe this is Urdu also. We don't know. Urdu or Arabic.
Don't know.
Yeah. Sukur is again Pakistan, I think. Must be A. So, yeah. Rory ke paas.
Yes.
Okay.
A for my Sahib. This very good Mastani has not been contacted by Baba, but her remarks to Ramju about Baba are worth repeating. Repeating here. Ramju was in Sukur on some work for Baba, and towards evening on 17th June 1924, he was strolling near the river, where he met this old lady whom he had seen earlier the same day, walking along the path, muttering to herself. When Ramju came closer to her, she gazed steadfastly into his face, and asked him in an imperious voice, "Who is you? Who is your peer?" Spiritual master. Ramju replied, "Meher Baba." And the moment she heard this, she replied, "Badshah, Shahenshah, King, King of Kings," and then shuffled away. She was a very old lady with a crown of snow white curls, very much like Baba Jan. For Ramju's original account, see Meher Baba General, January 1939.
This must be Ramju Abdullah, right?
Yeah, Ramju Abdullah.
Yeah. Surat.
Yeah. Surat. Abdul Rahman Malik, a good Mast who was a great collector of bric-a-brac and a lover of cigarettes. He sat naked except for a loincloth in an upper room of a house belonging to an influential citizen of Surat. In the room, there were several cupboards, scores of packets and tins of cigarettes, many bottles of scent, 7 vacuum flasks, 11 pairs of shoes, many shawls, and such a gallimaufry of odds and ends that the room looked like a general shop. Abdul Rahman would always ask visitors to give him cigarettes, and to all who came to him, even to women and children, he would offer cigarettes and insist that they smoke one in front of him. If they refused to smoke, they were told to leave his presence at once. He gave Baidul a cigarette and a soda Baba contacted him twice on his visit to Surat. Abdul Rahman Malik has now passed away. This was in August 12, 1943. Ashish, are you able to read? Somehow I'm feeling a bit.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, can you read? Yeah, please. Thank
Yeah. Okay.
Mastan Hafiz Ji.
Mastan Hafiz Ji. He lives in a tiny hotel next to mosque, and his body is girt about his bits of iron. Every day he sits near a public lavatory and reads the Quran aloud, and from time to time cleans out the lavatory himself. With the Quran tucked under one arm as he does so, the proximity of the Quran to the lavatory causes some critical remarks among the more fastidious Orthodox Muslims of Surat. Hafizi is a good must of the Ittifaqi type. 1943, April 13.
We missed checking one word out from the last one. Gallimaufry. Let's check that out. Gallimaufry. Confused jumble or medley of things. That's what he says. It's like a general shop with a lot of things kept, and he used to collect a lot of bric-a-brac. That was Rahman Malik. Okay, then we read Mastan Hafiz Ji. Okay, Tata Nagar.
Chunni Shah Baba. A very good must, an old man who would consume every day about 2 ounces of tobacco mixed with lime. He would actually eat this mixture, not merely chew and expectorate it. Baba also gave him a tobacco and lime, and Chunisha was coaxed into an air raid shelter for contact. 1944, July 20. So this is something new mixture, right? Tobacco and lime.
No, lime, I think, is the white, not lemon. It's that limestone. I think that's pretty common in South. Chuna.
Tuna.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought, okay.
I think that's pretty common in South.
I think everywhere, in the Maharashtra also. In Maharashtra also, the people.
That's what they have it with tobacco.
Thana Bhavan. Maulana Ashraf Ali.
So we'll just see where Thana Bhavan is. E4.
E4. Maybe in the near to.
So this is for A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so somewhere near Delhi. Thana, this is 4, right? Yeah, this is 4.
Yes.
And E4. So you have A, B, C, D, and this is E. Or Thana Bhavan near Jalabad, near Deoband. Just above Muzaffarnagar. Okay.
Nagar Panipat. Okay. Thana Bhavan. Maulana Ashraf Ali Chirag-e-Hind. An Arab pilgrim, a thin and very aged man who leads the prayers at the mosque at Thana Bhavan. It was said that he had been seen by independent observers leading the prayers at Thana Bhavan and at the same time being present in the great Jama Masjid at Delhi. He has a wife and children and wears a good clothes. Baba desired to give him 30 rupees, but he declined to accept them. Baba, however, who seemed to be definite about wishing to give him this sum, sent him a money order for 30 rupees from Jalalabad station. Shortly afterwards, Baba explained that he was a wali on the path of Shariat. 1942 February. Wali.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced Wali. Wali, Peer and Wali.
So kind of traveler on that path.
Yeah. He's just advanced soul, Peer, Wali. Shariat is traditional Sharia, basically. Means
Sharia law.
rituals and rules of Islam.
Sharia law.
Correct.
Trivandrum, D13. So Trivandrum we know Muslim in the Kerala, right?
Kerala,
Teli
yeah.
Baba.
Bottom of Kerala, yeah.
Yeah. A good must with an almost unbelievable habit of drinking kerosene oil by the bottle full. His clothes and body were literally saturated with the kerosene, and saliva flowed freely from his mouth, which was very dirty and
Ulcerated.
unserated. He was brought to the traveler's bungalow for contact, and Baba fed him and sat with him alone for 2 or 3 hours. He was then about 40 years of age. He is a must of third plane. Date of contact 1940 January 6.
So he's called Teli Baba because of the kerosene drinking.
The kerosene. Yeah. Uran. C8. Uran.
C8. Let's see where that is.
Uran is here near Mumbai.
Maharashtra.
Oh, is it?
Mumbai, yeah.
Yeah. 50 kilometers from where I am.
Okay.
50, 70.
Yeah, right there on the coast.
Yeah. Yes. It's a fishing village actually.
Okay.
Uran C8. Gangagiri
Baba.
Maharaj. Oh, sorry. Muhyiddin Baba, Nanga Baba. A very high mast of 6 plane, famous not only in Uran itself but also in the Bombay. He is about 100 years old, is naked, and is in typical Mazhub-like state. He sits either in his own small hut or by the roadside or anywhere that takes his fancy. Baba contacted him in a cemetery where he happened to be sitting at the time. 1942, September 22. Uri. Uri may be in the Kashmir, near to Kashmir.
Correct.
Yeah. C2. Yeah.
There it is. Uri.
Yeah. Uri.
I think Uri is, POK or our Kashmir. We don't know.
It's near the border, and I've stayed there in my childhood.
Oh, wow. So let's look it up.
My father was posted there. There's a hydroelectric power, facility there. So he used to look after that. So we've spent some very nice times. It's a very beautiful place, extremely beautiful. And it is very close to Pakistan.
It's right on the border. There's another Shahdara there.
There was, I think, military trial happened there on the Uri, right? Recently, there was a after that Pathankot, there was a
yes. There was a strike there. Yeah. Movie also is there, no? Uri? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so Balakot is on the other side, and yeah, I think this is all total border area. Okay.
Yeah. Uri, C2, name not known. A mere boy, about 8 years old, who slept very little and used constantly to repeat La ilaha illallah. There is no God but the one God. While tossing his head, he was much revered, the Uri, and people would come to him and ask that their prayers be fulfilled. He was brought to Baba and contacted by him, and Baba ordered Ramju to give him a sheet the next day. He was a Madazat type of must, though he had not at that time developed the traits of a typical Madazat in full. 1929, July 30. So the meaning of La ilaha illallah is there is no God but the one God. Okay, this is I heard about this La ilaha illallah, but the meaning first time I got to know.
Yeah. So that's mentioned everywhere. Yeah, La ilaha, La ilaha. illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, which means there's only one God and Muhammad is his messenger.
Prophet, yeah.
Harigiri Maharaj. A good Bibulus must who
This
lives in a temple.
Vaijapur, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Vaijapur,
This is-
D8. Vaijapur is in the Andhra, probably.
I don't know. Maybe it's Bijapur. Today's Bijapur. We'll just check.
Yeah, today's Bijapur. Yes.
D8. Oh, it's very close to Vaijapur, right here, near Dahigaon.
Maharashtra.
Dahigaon.
Rahuri.
very
Nagar,
close to-
near to Ahmednagar.
Yeah, near to Nagar and Mehrabad.
Yeah,
So not Bijapur like I assumed.
not Bijapur. Yeah, Vaijapur. D8. Harigiri Maharaj. A good Bibulus must who lives in a temple. Each day he tramps about 5 miles to a dry river bed where he collects all sorts of white stones in a bag. He brings these stones back to the temple and hides them here and there, hides them here and there around the temple or inside it. Every evening he goes to a liquor shop and drinks country spirits. He's a middle-aged, wear old clothes, and is well known in Vajapur. He drinks so much that he intoxicated all day and every day. 1944, May 16. So it's the first must I'm reading like he was drinking.
Yeah. What is bibulous? Excessively fond of drinking alcohol.
Good word. Bibulous.
Bibulous.
Better than kerosene. Yeah.
Yeah, better than kerosene.
Okay.
Bengurla.
Bengurla.
Is in Karnataka?
No, C10. Maybe.
Maharashtra. Mumbai.
Yeah,
Between
Mumbai.
and
Yeah.
Vengurla is a place where Baba had drowned into.
No, it's Goa.
Yeah, it's
Border
close
maybe.
to Goa. It's close to Goa.
Goa border maybe.
And
yeah.
Vengurla, Baba had gone for a vacation after the new life.
Okay.
And there was a canoe on which Baba insisted Iraj to take him because the route by land was circuitous.
Okay.
So Iraj said that, don't use this. This is a filthy water, backwaters, and it's not safe. But Baba said, no, let's go. And somehow there's a story, audio story. And then the canoe turned over and Baba fell into that dirty water, including Iraj. And Iraj had all Baba's things and his clothes and everything, but he just somehow held on Baba's hand and brought him out. And that time Baba had given him a message that today you have taken me out of this filthy water, filth, and one day I'll take you out of the filth of this world. There's a beautiful story of Iraj on the visit to Vengurla, and that hotel where they stayed is still there. It is on a cliff. You may look. I think it is ITDC or MTDC hotel where Baba had stayed. It's on a cliff, and you can see the beautiful sea down there. I think a few years back, a group had gone to Vengurla, Baba group.
So it's basically the Konkan coast.
Konkan
coast, yeah.
People go there for, they have their houses built as a second home, and it's a picnic place,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lala Mast, a good must of the fifth plane, an old man in old clothes who carries a long stick and talks a strange sort of Hindi that no one quite catches. He lives in a dilapidated little hut near the border of Savantwadi state. He cooks his own food and shares it with crows and stray dogs, and he comes once a day to the main market. He was taken for a ride in the Baba's car, and throughout the drive, he demonstrated his enjoyment with the ingenuous enthusiasm of a child. 1947 March 8, 1947 March 9. Then Varka D3. Varka
कहाँ है?
D3.
3 maybe A, B. Near Amritsar.
Near Amritsar, okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Talisen, a high type of Walimust of the fifth plane. He is an old short man who wears clothes that remind one of the people of Jaipur. He has a slipper on one foot and keeps the other bare, and he carries the branch of a tree and a bundle with a Quran in it. He is so well known and so highly revered that almost every passerby salutes him, and cars, buses, and tangas as they pass actually slow down while the occupants pay respects to him. Many optimistic gamblers in India have a habit of approaching well-known saints and must interpreting any word or sign they make as a guide in laying their bets. Taliesin gets pestered by such people, and he reprimands them, telling them to be good to their parents, never to accept money that they have not earned, and always to do good to others. As he gives such people this little sermon, he guides them back along the road leading to Amritsar, where most of them come from. If they persist in asking for betting tips, he threatens them with his stick. Those who come to in the tanga, he pushes into the back seat, and he then takes the pony's bridle and turns the tanga round towards Amritsar and finally hits the pony with his stick. Baba has contacted this great mutt 4 times. At the contact in 1946, Baba brought some fresh plums and gave them to Taliesin. Taliesin, however, came up to the tanga with Baba, handed him back the fruit, and told the tanga driver to take Baba and his men back to Amritsar. Taliesin then walked away, and Baba immediately sent one of his men with a message to Taliesin asking him what should be done with the plums. He sent back word that the person who has given me the plums known best what to do with them. Baba was not satisfied with his contact and went again the next morning to see him. During the night, it had poured with rain, and Taliesin was discovered sitting in a pool of water. His attendant, Mujawar, who comes every day on a cycle from Amritsar to clean Taliesin hut and attend to his needs, was already there and was trying to clear the water away. As soon as the water was cleared away, Baba sat with the Taliesin, and after half an hour, the two emerged, Taliesin leading Baba by the hand back to the tanga. Baba explained that his work with this must had been satisfactorily completed. Here, I think it went on the top. Date of contact is 1942 April, 1946 May 6, 1946 July 28, 1946 July 29.
Numita, you want to read for some time?
Yeah, Baba, I'm painting, so I will listen.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
I will continue.
Jai Baba. Please. Why?
Yeah. Why?
Why is Maharashtra, right?
Near to Mahabaleshwar. Yeah, near to Mahabaleshwar.
Yeah.
Near to Pune. Yeah.
There's a center also, right?
Why?
No, why there is no center?
There is no center. Is a cave. Actually, there's a cave where the Babas went there into that cave.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dr. Vasudev stays there, so there is a Baba family who stays in there, but he stays in Panchgani.
Yeah, that's what I remember. You mentioned that in
there's
the
no
context.
center. And why is a place actually is also related to Maharashtra history actually. There is an old fort which is, there is a pond there and dilapidated, used for many movie shots. So it's like that. It's a historical reference. Why? Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, there's no asterisk there, though we stopped. Warangal is Andhra. Brahmachari Mast.
Warangal. Brahmachari Mast. A very good mast. He was not directly contacted by Baba, but his remark to Kaka and the messages that Baba sent him give an indication of one of the reasons why Baba tries to contact these souls. Brahmachari Mast is a tiny little man and a typical Jalali type mast. Baidul went to see him first of all, and he was told sharply, "Don't put your foot inside my boundary." Kaka then went to see him and took a message from Baba saying, "We have come here to meet you." Brahmachari Mast replied to this angrily, "So you didn't find any other man on whom you could throw the burden? I neither give anything to anyone, nor take anything from anyone." And he sent Kaka off with a sharp rebuke. Baba then sent Kaka again, telling him to lecture the must on his uncooperative behavior and asked him why he just sat there and took no responsibility. The must, however, after listening to Kaka for a while, boiled over again and told Kaka peremptorily to clear off. This was on 5th June 1945. 1945, June 5th is a point of his contacted date.
Sure. This is Andhra.
Then
Then
Wardha.
Yadgir.
Yeah, Yadgir.
Yadgir is Karnataka. Let's
Yeah.
confirm E9. BCDE. Yeah, Gurmitcal. Where is Yadgir? Yeah, here it is. Yadgiri.
Near to
It's Deccan Plateau, but Karnataka side, near Bijapur.
Bijapur.
Bijapur is here, Yadgir is here.
Yadgiri, Ishwardas Swami, Telugu Swami. If we exclude Kutubs, this man is one of the three men of the seventh plane in India. He is a Jivan Mukta in the state of Turya Avastha. He is a tall, stoutish old man, and he has a fair and lustrous face. Many years ago, when he lived in a Shahabad, it appears that he had been complete mazub, and in those days he used to be stoned by boys who presumably judged him to be mad. He now lives in a little village of Tumkur, a few miles from Yadgiri. The village Patel, headman, was built a special room for him near a certain temple. And since many come to visit Ishwardas, a dharamshala has also been built there. The journey to the village was trying, for there were showers of rain on the way, and the party had to wade across a knee-deep river. For some strange reason, Baba developed a severe pain in the chest and was obliged to walk very slowly indeed. And he perspired so profusely that his clothes were drenched. As they drove near to the village, however, the sun came out and Baba's clothes were dried in the sun. When they reached the village, they went straight to the room where Ishwar Das lived. Ishwar Das first grasped Baidul by the hand, and when Baba approached, he suddenly looked radiantly happy and embraced Baba with an amazing fervor that astounded those two witnessed it. After Baba had sat with Ishwar Das for a while, he emerged and walked briskly back to Yadgiri, for a pain in his chest was now quite gone. The year was the date of contact 1945, July 7.
But then please note, I don't think we have seen a reference to somebody who is compared to a Kutub, right? So this is again a very, very special contact he has made. Ishwar Das Swami, Telugu Swami. Okay, we finished the supplement. So this is the additional supplement. So spiritual agents outside India contacted by
what
Meher
agents?
Yeah,
So these are no agents, right? Not the must are I think completed.
Correct.
So shall I continue?
Please, maybe for another 5 minutes and we can wrap up.
Meher Baba has explained that the majority of musts are to be found in India, which is the most important country in the world from the spiritual point of view. Apart from those in India, there are few musts in Arabia, a very few in parts of Iran. These few are mostly in Meshat and Tabriz, and very few in Egypt, China, and Tibet. As far as countries outside Asia are concerned, there are, with the exception of Egypt, no musts in any other part of the world. There are, however, God lovers, a few advanced souls, and certain people who are agents of the Sahib-e-Zaman avatar. These agents are holders of definite, distinct offices, just as the Christ state, the Nebuwat-e-Muhammadi, or whatever name it is known by, is actual the office held by each Sahib-e-Zaman. So these states of the agents are distinct offices held by certain souls who carry out important work for each Sahib-e-Zaman. On the death of one agent, his office is automatically filled by a successor. For just as there is always a Sahib-e-Zaman or a Sahib-e-Waqt, so also there are always his agents. Baba explains that there are three types of agents. Direct agents, who are very few. There is one in Europe, one in Asia, one in America, one in Africa. One, in fact, is almost each important continent. These direct agents receive instructions directly from the Sahib-e-Zaman. Indirect agents, who are few and who receive instructions from the direct agents. Borrowed agents, who are many and who receive order from indirect agents. The principal agents are always on the fourth plane and thought the power that they wield on this plane. They act for a Sahib-e-Zaman. They may even do miracles for the Sahib-e-Zaman, since the Sahib-e-Zaman himself almost never performs a miracle, for if he wishes to do so, he must, at the time of doing the miracle, actually station himself on the fourth plane. These agents are on the fourth plane only because of the necessity of using certain of its power for the work of the Sahib-e-Zaman. They are not in the position of those on the spiritual path who, when they reach the fourth plane, may use its power for goods or may misuse them and so fall back to a very primitive state of evolution. Below are given few notes of Baba's contacts with certain agents outside India, now India and Pakistan. Place: Albuquerque, Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA. Date December 1934. Baba has explained that this is one of the very rare direct agents. He is the direct agent of America. In 1934, when Baba and few of his disciples were on their way to California, the train stopped at Albuquerque. For a short time, Baba spelled out the word Indian on the palm of his hand and went his ruano away from the station into small street nearby. At a street corner, they noticed two American Indians. One was selling bows and arrows, and he walked away as soon as the Baba approached. The other, a tall, impressive figure with a red band tied round his head, stayed there he was, and for a few moments Baba and he stood facing one another, each looking intently into the other's eyes. Baba then abruptly walked back to the station. Place Barcelona.
No. Sorry.
Place Barcelona, Spain. Date November 1933. He is one of the third type of agent, a borrowed agent. He was a policeman who always seemed to be on duty at any time of day that Baba came into the great plaza public square. The policeman kept glancing at Baba in an indefinably significant way, and when those with Baba inquired about him, Baba explained that he was one of his agents. Wow, so it was a policeman. Place Lugano, Switzerland. Day Date May 1932. A borrowed agent, Baba and his group were on a steamer on the lake of Lugano. There was an old man dressed in a simple, poor clothes on the opposite side of the deck, whom Baba pointed out as one of the agents. One of the group asked how he should know this. Baba then took Mr. Gunny walking stick and asked those about him if they would believe him should the old man tap his own stick in the same way that Baba tapped Dr. Gunny's stick. Baba then tapped Dr. Gunny's stick 2 or 3 times on the deck in a special way, and the old man thought he was not looking at Baba at that time, tapped his stick in exactly the same way. Baba then tapped again in a different way, and the old man again copied his taps exactly. This was done finally a third time and again repeated exactly. Baba later sent someone to him with a piece of bread and butter, which he ate. Wow. Place Marseilles, France. Date unknown, November 1936. A borrowed agent. One day, when at Zurich, Switzerland, Baba said suddenly that he must reach Marseilles before midnight the following day, since he had spiritual appointment there. As soon as party arrived in Marseilles, Baba asked to be taken to the city park, and when he came to the particular part of it, he began walking to and fro from the gravel path with Norina and Elizabeth on either side of him. Norina and Elizabeth both noticed that one of the other side, a small lawn, there was a young man sitting on a park seat. Baba eventually took a loop round the lawn and walked straight past the young man, who, as Baba passed, stood up and bowed his head in a reverential way to Baba. Baba then walked off, explaining that the man was one of his agents. Place Moscow, Russia. Date 1933. No direct contact with Baba. He was an indirect agent who took orders from the Cristiano of Rome, QV. One of Baba's English disciples was ordered by Baba to go to Moscow on his way back to China. He had a job in China and give a certain article to an old man who would be dressed in a long garment and would have the physical appearance of the old man seen at Santa Margarita, QV. Baba explained that he would be very difficult to find. This disciple hunted high and low all over Moscow for 3 or 4 days and was about to leave to catch his connecting train for Nankin when he saw an old man sitting outside a church who answered to Baba description. He approached him, gave him an article from Baba, and set off once for the station.
Wow. So we'll stop here and continue in the next week. So,
Jai Baba.
Jai
There
Baba.
is a news which came on television yesterday. There are 508 stations are going to be spruced up as a special drive, railway stations.
Okay.
So one of them happens to be Ahmednagar. There are 44 in Maharashtra.
Okay.
So as it appears on newspaper, that's the first station that appears. Only thing is probably we are going to lose that old charm. You get that feeling when you go to Baba Ahmednagar railway station that Baba has and his mandali has traveled from this and to this station so many times. There's a countless number of times Baba must have gone there. It's like another place of pilgrimage, like the Pune railway station. So probably that would all get destroyed, kind of,
transformed.
Yeah, completely transformed.
Modernization.
Modernization. There's a picture also they have put on the newspaper how it will look like.
You saw and send, Sanjay ji?
Yeah, picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send it. Maybe I can show it live. 1 minute.
Yeah, show it live.
Show your painting live.
Yes, sir.
Areva. So garden, flowers. What?
You know that Australian Baba Lava passed on? And
Yeah.
know anything much about him?
I have talked to him last time. In Feb he was there, or in Jan, I think. Jan, I spent an hour with him during breakfast time. Okay, you are talking of Bill Lay Page. Before that, also another guy passed away, right? He was also an Australian and used to speak Hindi very well. So Bill Lay Page, no, I started reading one of his books, but that's it. I had to leave it there at MPR. This is the station, Ahmednagar station. This is how it will look like.
Oh, nice.
Completely different. That porch you see as you enter the station, railway station.
Beautiful stone
is
porch.
all gone. It's all gone.
And that they also have that steamer, no? They have a steam engine on the right.
Yeah.
That restored steam engine.
Yes.
I hope they retain that.
And the cafeteria has Baba photograph. Yeah.
How far is it from? I've never seen this.
You must, next time you visit, you try to go. I hope they don't start before that.
Before they start, yeah.
It's just that as you enter Ahmednagar, it's very close actually from Mehrabad. You come from Mehrabad, enter the city, right? And we take the right turn towards Merazad. You just keep going straight. Barely 1.5 kilometers the station is.
I see.
Kinetic Chowk, you take a left instead of right. That's it.
No, don't have to take left. Left, you will go over the bridge. You go straight. Go straight. Go straight. Yeah, go straight. Yeah.
So if you take a left, it's that narrow path. Yeah. Okay. So everybody have a great week ahead. It was nice talking, and send your painting when it's done.
Yeah, thank you.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Jai Baba.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye. Jai Baba.